anyone that listens to my YouTube channel. So I booked this Reiki session with someone who's definitely not psychic. And I was so upset, not with her, but myself, because yesterday evening I got this really seriously bad vibe about going through with the appointment, and I did anyway. So I arrived there promptly 2 minutes to 11, and she definitely um, wasn't even prepared for me on time. So she had me sit out in the front while she prepared the room. And then she asked me if I'm someone that likes sage, aromatherapy, essential oils. And I told her numerous times before our session that I'm a healer and I'm a Reiki master and a Tantra yoga instructor. So she's asking me if anything like sage or Palo Santo oil would offend me. And I looked at her and I said, bring it on. Just, give me that wonderful Palo Santo oil. And so she lights some Palo Santo, prepares it in the room for me, asks me if I'm allergic to anything like essential oils. I said, definitely not. I'm not allergic to essential oils. She got the go ahead. And she honestly just spent the entire session hovering above my auric field with her hands. Something that I'm trying to get used to, but to be honest with you, I'm a very tactile person. I like direct touch, direct contact to my skin. And hovering is great too, as long as it's effectual. In her case, though, she doesn't have a strong enough energy for me personally, because I thought that she was psychic, and she said that if she got in contact with my ancestors or spirit guides or messengers, she would be more than happy to give me information along the way. So all I had was a full hour of complete torture. All these negative feelings were dredged up from my past, every sad event in my life, especially the death of my second dog, who died of bone marrow cancer. And so all these visions of all these sad events kept coming up, and she didn't even have any music on for me. And I was just so depressed and deflated and absolutely sleepy and fatigued after our session. I felt absolutely drained, and still I was trying to be open-minded and upbeat. And she said, I'd like to share a few things with you. And I said, I'm all for that. And then it got to the point where everything she said was completely false. She said that my crown chakra, my third eye, and my throat chakra was on pause. And I said, really? And what told you that? Can you tell me how you felt about that and why you feel like my throat chakra is closed down? And so she goes to me, it's on pause. And she said she consulted with her pendulum. So I looked at her pendulum, which she wears around her body, and I said, well, your pendulum is wrong, and you didn't use your intuition. I never rely on pendulums. I'm just extremely psychic. And honestly, there's nothing more frustrating for me than working with someone who pretends that they're psychic. And then she went on to explain how to open up the throat chakra. She said singing, chanting, and I said, yeah, I do all that on a daily basis. I chant every single day. I chant and sing. And I looked at her and I said, well, that's something that I do all the time, 24/7. I chant all the time. I sing all the time. And then she said, great. And I said, yeah. I said, and I just want to give you some feedback. I said, all I kept thinking the whole time were these negative, sad thoughts. And I noticed that I had left this Philosopher's Stone Apothecary a wonderful review, I think a couple of years ago, and they took down the beautiful review that I wrote. So maybe I should write a more honest review and talk about my feelings, because she even pronounced my name wrong. So instead of calling me Diana, she calls me Diane. And you know what? The thing that frustrates me is when people can't even use my full legal name properly. And, here's my puppy coming on board. And the thing that really hurts my feelings or upsets me is when people shorten my name and shorten it from Diana to Diane. It's because she didn't care about me at all. She has no empathy. And she said that she's a retired massage therapist. And I said, well, I've been a therapist for 30 years and counting, and I love touching people, and I like exerting my strength. And then she said, oh, but do you really use, full force when you work on people? And I said, I definitely do. I've even brought some of my clients to tears with the amount of pressure that I can use if asked. So, yeah, I'm just leaving this on my YouTube channel. There's nothing worse than getting a really bad healing from someone that pretends to be an authentic healer and absolutely isn't intuitive at all. End of video.